So, another sign up video, but I'll make it quick. Subject is, are you paid your worth? Right? Are you paid your worth in trucking? Because we all know that we have to get experience, under our belt. Um, that's really with any job. Any job, even if you come get a degree fresh out of school, you'll make a certain amount depending on your degree. But then the longer you've been doing it and the better you get at it, the more opportunities you have and the more upward mobility that you have. So that's anywhere. But particularly in trucking. So are you paid your worth? Because when you get out, even though people now are getting more, of course, than what others were getting when they started, right? But also you got inflation. Dozen of eggs is like what, $6-7. So yeah, you get paid more starting out than what other individuals did when they started 5, 6, 7 years ago. But the price of eggs is even higher than now. The average home is $300,000, so on and so forth. So are you really getting paid more than what they were getting paid back then? Is the question. So the thing is, I want people to know is to know your worth, right? You got to understand, right, that society and people in general, companies, they're about money, right? Some companies are better than others, of course. But at the end of the day, it's about that load, right? It's about that load. Like, of course, they want you to be safe. They want you to be safe because they don't want anything to happen to that load, and then they don't want anything to happen to you because then that goes against their, motor carrier number, and then, potential for suing and all these other things. So of course they want you to be safe, right? But also they want you to get on that load. Because I spoke about Stevens, even with home time and stuff like that, or getting a repower. They repower you for those loads that you're not gonna make because you just don't have enough time for whatever reason. But they don't repower you for your home time, right? Or sometimes if you speak to your fleet manager, they'll call you, or the only time that they may even really call you is to check on you making that load on time. They're not checking on you just to see how you're doing. I did have one fleet manager, especially when I first started at Stevens. Damn, what's her name? I think her name is Tia Ragland or something like that. She was real cool. Like I think she generally cared. She generally, when I first started, cared and actually got me. I felt like she cared, and I felt like it wasn't just about the load for her, right? Like, so that is somebody that I can't say. So it's not everybody, right? But the vast majority of them, yeah, it's just all about that load. So are you being treated properly? Are you getting paid your value? Because, okay, you come in, you think, because the minimum in the truck is like 1,000 a week. Let's say it's 1,000 a week, right? So you come in and your mentality where you're used to making $500 a week at the plant, at the factory, at McDonald's. You're used to making 500, so you're like 1,000. It's good, 1,000, which is decent, But the way that I think about it is, think about the amount of money in trucking, period. Even though it's down now, right? Think about all the money that people are making. Like, I know people who, one guy on YouTube, his minimum was like $8 to $10 a mile, right? But you're getting paid 50 cents a mile, even though you're new and he's been doing it longer than you. Still, $10 a mile, you getting paid 50 cents a mile, right? And it's like, get your experience and learn the game, bro. Know your worth, because 50 cents a mile, and let's say for me, right, I saw that even for the spot market, typical going rate is $2.60 a mile or something like that. It's the going rate just from the spot market, just from that. You know, you going on the load board, finding a load. The average is like $2.66, I think. So let's say you're at a company, and let's just say they're paying you 55 cents a mile for fat burning. So that means even if they go off the spot market, they're off of you, they're still making, what did I say, 266. So they're still making $2.11 off you per mile. $2.11 per mile. Now, of course, they got the truck that they're paying for, but these companies don't buy all these trucks, bro. Like, they lease these trucks. So they're a big enough company, they get a good enough deal to where, let's say, you got a 2024, 2023 Kenworth that's normally going for, let's say, $200,000, right? They gonna get it for 150. They gonna get it for 150, right? They gonna get those loads, run those loads, run that truck until they get to 3 to 4. Sometimes now they go up to even 500,000 miles on those trucks, and then they just turn them back in or they sell them, right? So they paid $150,000 for the truck, right? Within those 2 years or 3 years, basically the truck is paid for. So really within a year, with all those miles, that truck is for damn near paid for by then. Within a year. Or let's just say within 2 years, that truck is for the most part paid for, because you gotta understand, you running 100,000 miles, 90,000 miles a year, right? So even if you do, let's say 100,000 miles a year, and the average is $2.66, right? You multiply that times 100,000 miles, that's well over $200,000. So even with that, if you just pay for the truck itself and just put all the money towards the truck, it's paid for. But like I said, you give it 2 years, it's definitely paid for. Or if damn near not, or it's damn near 80% paid for, right? So just think about stuff like that. So yeah, they have the truck responsibility, but it's paying for itself. If anything happens with that brand new truck, it has a warranty. They send it in for a warranty, right? They have mechanics. A lot of them have mechanics on duty or on site that they could take it to if you're in their area. If they have different places that they can take it to, different stations and stuff, home sites for them that they pay for individuals to go to diesel mechanic school, right? So that they can come in and fix their trucks, right? They fix their trucks, put you through school, same way they do truck drivers. They put you through school, right? But thing is, the government pays these schools to be a training school, meaning that they get thousands of dollars per student to train you, right? Then on top of that, you pay them, meaning that they're going to pay for your school, even though the government's paying them to train you. But you're going to still pay them $5,000. You're still going to pay them $4,000 on top of the $6,000, $7,000 that the government is giving you or giving them for you. So they done made $6,000 from the government, made another $4,000 off you. It's $10,000 that they done made. Just off you, one person. And how many people do you see coming through those doors in your classrooms with you? How many people do you see? It's $10,000. This is even low baller. This is $8,000. It's $8,000. You got 10 people in your class, but we know it's more than that. 10 people, it's $80,000 that they made. But then in training, they only paying you $500, $600. Hell, even $1,000. They paying you $1,000. They paying you $1,000 for, let's say, 6 weeks worth of training. Even they pay you $1,000, it's $6,000, right? They done made, what did I say? They done made $10,000 off you. Just off of not even you driving, just off you being there, they made $10,000 off you. So they still got another 4 G's, right? They still got another 4,000. So that little $6,000, $1,000, which a lot of them not paying you $1,000, but they still made 4,000 just off you. That's not even you running the truck at all. They done made $10,000, right? And they want to tell you to run. We get in the mentality we need to run, we need to make money, right? Which is true, you need to make money, but you got to play the game, get your experience. Never get in the mindset of it's just all about running, because at the end of the day, they will replace you. Like, ask to go home and see how difficult it is for you to go home, even though you've been out for eight weeks. Been out for 8 weeks. Paid them countless amounts of money. The way I used to look at it, every time I used to see a Stevens truck, I would say that's at least $3,000 load. At least $3,000 load. At least a $3,000 load. And how many company trucks that you work for that you see pass by? You pass by 10 of your company trucks during your 10-hour ride, right? It's $3,000. It's $30,000. You can pass by $30,000 just that one day. On that I-20, on that I-85, on that I-75. Like, you can pass by at least, you can pass by, let's say like, I said like 8 trucks. Or how many trucks? I forgot. It's hot. But yeah, you can pass by, 10 trucks. Yeah. And that's $30,000. But you're getting paid 50 cents a mile. Now, get your experience, get your knowledge, but also learn the game, because most jobs, and not even in trucking, but particularly trucking, they're gonna pimp you. They're gonna use you, they're gonna pimp you, because they know individuals come from, especially that's why they target certain backgrounds, certain individuals, certain cultures, all this, right? Because they know people don't come from somewhere where they only make $500, $300 a week. So if you give them $1,000, they think that they're really doing something, but which is it's cool. It is a blessing, right? But you got to think bigger. You got to think bigger than that, bro. You got to think about the overall grand scheme of things, like how much money you could potentially be making, how much money they're making off of you. And that's one thing I can say about these tech companies, Apple and stuff. At least they take care of their employees. They pay them 6 figures. They give them mental health breaks. They give them all the vacation that they want. They have basketball courts, or they have, special chairs that they sit in to help them, they help them. They have meditation. They have all these type of things, right? So at least with those tech companies and things of that nature, you work, but then also they seem to value their employees a little bit more because of the stuff that they do. They need a mental break. If they need to go see their parents in another state, how difficult is it for them to get off work? Whereas with truckers, I gotta route you there, and I need you to take this load first. Then once you take this load, we're gonna supposedly route you back to your house to where you gotta go see your family, or you gotta go do some shit. So my thing of it is, think about the overall scheme and grand scheme of things in trucking. You should do that with anything, but we're talking about trucking, in particular in trucking. Think about the overall big picture of it, and think about how much they're making off the loads off you, and then tell myself, are you really getting paid your worth? And we know that you got to go through and do what you need to do, right? Starting out your first, 3 months, 6 months, year, whatever. But think outside of that. And my thing is for y'all is to think outside of that and think big. That's if you want to. A lot of people, they just satisfied with, getting their 50 cent or 60 cent, being with a company for 10, 15, 20 years. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are people out here who think bigger than that, right? And if that's you and that's what you want to do, this video ain't for you. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But it ain't for you, so, you know, there's no need for you to come and be like, oh, well, I worked for 15, 20 years and I ain't love it here. It's like, okay, I'm not talking to you. But for the new individual, for individuals who think outside of that box or want to do more, just start breaking down the numbers and start looking at different things with your company. Peep the stuff, you know, and are you really being paid your worth? That's all I'm saying. So that's it for this video, man. It's hot up in here. About to go swell up, work out. But yeah, just know your worth, study the game, and do whatever is best for you. And don't let the company play you. Don't let the company manipulate you. Don't let the company use you, right? Because I saw a thing about Jamie Foxx. I haven't really researched to see how true it is, but it sounds like it'll be true. But, you know, he was sick and he had like 8 days left, right, to film. And then they replaced him with a stunt double. And they said the moral of the story is take time with your family, right? Do what you need to do for you. Because at the end of the day, these companies, these businesses will replace your ass. So that's what I want to talk about. Know your value, know your worth. Get the most out of everything that you can do. And never let people manipulate you, you know, right? Because they will try to manipulate you. So, peace.